You think women are so desperate that we're just going to go for anybody?
But are we making sure that we're not giving off that vibe? Ladies, am I right?
I think as a whole, women are giving off the vibe that we're just willing to
Yeah,
settle.
that's what I'm saying.
Settle for whoever.
Don't do that.
Because more women want to settle down than men.
Yep, that's it.
And
That's it.
And these men are just out in these streets
Mm-hmm.
knowing that they can get this or that wherever they want, get that kitty cat.
Meow.
And we have to settle for less.
Now, Ross looks for less.
Not the Ross looks for less.
Anytime I hear for less, I don't know. I just think
Have
of
you-
like TJ Maxx and Marshalls and stuff.
Have you been in a Ross lately?
I don't know that I've ever been in one ever.
No. There's one right here where we are.
I'm sure that there is, and I've never been in it. Mm-mm.
Ross is, and anybody listening that's been in a Ross,
Yeah.
you know, it's the very, I don't want to say it's like the bottom, but it's like the,
It's even the more economic of the Marshalls.
yes, you've got the Marshalls and the TJ Maxx, and it kind of, the list kind of goes down. And I
Yeah.
think that Ross is where maybe even the last of some of those things end up,
Okay, got it.
which means you can get
A great deal.
the absolute best deals. So hear me say this.
Okay.
I like a Ross. Why? Because I always have a vision when I shop.
No doubt about that. As someone who just came from shopping with you, it's a sight to behold, and it's a marathon, not a sprint.
That's right.
And I 10 minutes in was like, all right, I'm checked out. I checked out figuratively.
Figurative. Your brain had mushed within 10 minutes.
I was like, okay, there's enough I've seen here. I will try on. But as far as like, I need a new necklace, but I don't want to look for one. So just pick one out for me.
Just pick one out.
Yeah, I need people just to do that for me. My ADHD said, no more.
But I do feel like with your new, the train's already here. The train
Yeah.
of truth is saying.
It knew. I just needed you to pick out that necklace for me.
With your new body,
Mm-hmm.
you got to get used to the fact that shopping might feel more joyful to you now.
Maybe.
The train agrees with me.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, damn it, the train.
Because not that you didn't like love yourself as you were before.
Yeah, I
but
dressed it. Yeah.
You dressed your body right.
Yeah.
You always have.
Yes.
But I'm just saying, yeah, you can now look in the mirror and be like, I love that I'm fitting into this.
There's just
and
more options.
Yeah, and yes, and
For
there are
sure.
more options. That's right.
There are definitely more options. But you found today, didn't you, that like some smalls were sold out. You were like, oh man, I would have bought the shorts in these.
Oh,
but
well, you'll now learn this, that I think that smalls do.
Oh, do they go the fastest?
They go the fastest. I that's at least what I have found. And I don't know with buyers, like how they decide we buy this many smalls.
Another
this many.
negative.
I know. Another downside to being thin.
The wrinkles, the smalls being sold out, the snake titties. I mean, what am I supposed to do with this information? I was sold a sack of shit.
I know. The cross I've been bearing this whole time and you didn't even know.
I had no clue. No clue. I missed the fat in my face.
Yeah,
Let me say
the hardships.
Nail me to the ground.
Like Greg.
Okay, but there was something else that we were saying right before that when we were talking about right before the shopping, right before I
Yes.
said I went with you. The ladies.
Yes, the ladies.
Yeah, but there was something right in the middle.
We'll find our way back. We'll claw and scratch our way back to it as we always do.
Interesting. I don't know what that was. My brain's not going to get there.
Well, we've already been together so much today.
Yeah.
I think that
That's tough.
We're gonna maybe have a tough time recording this.
Yep. We are going to have a tough time recording this because what else do we talk about? Bye, everybody. To be continued. My thought, I'll come back around to my thought sometime else. And we've already been together for 3 hours, so there's nothing left to say.
Okay, I did withhold something from you.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so my question is going to be, before I saw you shopping, you said you were at something for your kids.
Yes. So today is my kids. Now this is coming out later, of course, but it is
Yep.
my kids' last day of school today.
For the year?
For the year.
This is it?
This was it. Last night was Lachlan's kindergarten graduation, and then today my big kids finished. We went to like the middle school ceremony.
It's May something.
I know.
That's when it ends?
Yeah. It's what is today?
I
don't
have
even
no
know.
clue.
May 22nd.
May 22nd is
Yeah.
when it ends for private schools or just
Well,
yours?
Every private school is different. Some of them go a little bit past Memorial Day. Our schedule has been a little wonky the past few
When
years.
did y'all start if it's already done?
Well, we started like third weekend of August, but this coming year, they're bumping that up. So I think what's happening is now our school's trying to get on the same schedule as the other private schools. I think this is what's going on.
Okay.
But it's throwing everybody off because we've been used to like a late August start.
Yes.
And our friend Michelle had already planned a vacation for mid-August.
And now school's going to start?
And now school's going to start. It's a whole daggone thing, y'all. You know, life's tough.
Oh my gosh. Tell us more about how the smalls are sold out and your private school calendar is changing. Is that relatable, folks? Y'all all feeling like this is some authentic shit?
I just was saying to Matt, babe, we've got to be relatable. What were we talking about? We were just talking about like all the marriage things, and I was like, yeah, obviously Miranda and I are in like loving long-term marriages. We're very happy.
Yes.
But I can't just sit on the mic and tell everyone how in love I am with you, Matt. Am I deeply in love with you?
Yes.
Do I want to
have all the Akatar fairy wing sex with you, of course.
Are you the light of my life? Of course.
That is
but like
so sweet.
But I also have to get on here and be able to like
say some things that are annoying.
Yeah, or like giggle about just the things of this world.
The booth.
As a lady.
I'll be in the booth if you want to see me.
That's it. I'm in the booth if you want to see me.
You have to be able to say things like that.
Yes. We've discussed.
I mean, you have to self-deprecate on your relationships no matter what.
Yes.
Because
I mean, guys,
the truth of them is they're not perfect.
That's it.
You have to be willing to say that.
We are here to entertain you all.
Yeah.
First and foremost.
Yeah, first and foremost.
Whatever story needs to be told,
we'll do it.
It's going to get told. But Matt, you know I love you. And
if he doesn't know that by now, no amount of saying it on this podcast is going to work. Matt, she loves you.
Yeah. Well, you know
what?
He had a buddy give him a hard time that I had mentioned another man on this podcast.
Oh, what other man? Thor?
That
guy.
Yeah. That whole conversation that day.
Didn't sit well.
Didn't sit well. I think Jen's brother conversation didn't sit well.
They were all family photographs in the 80s and 90s.
I said the story was the bag of photos.
They were in sepia tone. This isn't recent.
These are 80s photos.
I don't know if I could pick them out of a lineup today in 2024. These were photos from high school.
Correct. So you bros, and you know who you are, stop giving my man a hard time about this.
What? It wasn't my man.
It wasn't.
I know he wouldn't. No, he would find that funny. I was saying the same thing. He didn't give me a hard time, so I know it's not going to give Matt a hard time about it.
Josh is like, get your kicks where you can.
Absolutely. As long as I'm revved up warm and coming home.
Yeah.
Gucci good.
That kitty cat's ready?
What does it matter? Whoever turned it on, turned it on. My God. And I mean my God.
Yes. Well, listen, we just want to be able to tell stories here. Okay.
Yeah, we're just entertaining.
But so I was at my kids' thing. They have so the middle school does like kind of a whole ceremony where they hand out like triple athlete awards, just that kind of stuff going through like things people accomplish through the year. It's really great because all these kids get recognized, whether that's academic, like because some kids are just super academic. Like
it's artistic, athletic, academic, all the things. We're covering them all.
And they do a really good job of celebrating. I feel like each kid in some way gets recognized, which I love, love, love.
Oh, so really because there's probably not a ton of kids, so each one can get recognized.
Maybe there's like 80 to 90 kids per grade.
But they're all getting something?
Because they're all athletes. They're all...
Wow.
So many of them are honors or high honors. Super proud of my kiddos. Both of them did very well today.
Good.
And I was just like beaming and giving a hard thumbs up from the balcony.
I love that.
They were looking up and I was like, see, even like the hard things you had to do this year and like the days that were long and difficult, it pays off. But, okay, so they give out specific awards, one per grade, based on like biblical characters, like characteristics.
Okay.
The Barnabas Award, the Timothy Award.
Let me tell you who Barnabas was, everybody.
Think about it.
Okay. So it's similar to barnacles on the bottom of a boat that you've got to scrape off. They're there because so much time is spent in the water. So Barnabas is someone who walked on water.
Yeah, it's like mythological creature is what you're getting right now. I'm like, This is not Poseidon.
No. Okay, I am confusing it with Greek mythology. Different thing.
The Poseidon Award goes to
the King Triton Award goes to. Okay. I don't know. What did Barnabas do?
Which one? In my mind, I was like Barabbas, but we don't want to confuse those two because that's
you don't have to tell me that. I know that.
Two very different people.
Okay, Timothy though. Timothy has a first and a second book.
Yes, he does.
I know that.
It changed Barnabas to Barabbas when I just typed it in.
Oh, that's not a good sign.
Oh my gosh. Google knows what they're doing, so do not.
That is satanic things. That is evil.
He was an apostle. I can tell you that.
Barnabas?
Yes. One of the prominent Christian disciples. But I'm trying to think of what they were saying in the specific award they were giving.
Is this the one your kid got?
No.
Oh, I'm on a tangent then.
Yeah, we're on a tangent.
Never mind.
Sorry, look it up.
Yeah.
And so they got to the last one, which was the Joshua Award, which is about leadership. And it's all the great things you want to hear about your kid.
Of course.
That they're kind and they're humble and all of that. But, which the Joshua Award is about like the leadership and showing strength when you need to and humility when you need to, that kind of stuff.
Being someone your other classmates can look at in that role.
And can trust,
yes,
I think.
I love that.
And Tinsley got it.
Yay!
Let's get ready.
We were so thrilled. So proud.
Is it one of those things where they start to read off all the characteristics and they're building it up and they're building it up and everyone's kind of sitting there and as a parent you're going,
could it be?
Say my kid's name.
Yes.
Say my
And that's what happened with Lily.
I know.
Last year.
And it is the coolest thing in the world.
When it's your kid.
When it's your kid, when you get to hear all those things and you're going, damn, whoever's kid that is awesome.
Yes.
Like, good on them.
Yes.
Way to go, parent. Like, whatever. And you're just like, let it be my kid's name. And then it is. And it's like the best thing in the world because parenting is full of, am I doing it right?
That's
Am I doing it right? Am I doing it right? Am I doing it right?
And I question this every day of my life. I think especially as my kids are like in the hard middle school years and like they're easy kids overall, but like things are still difficult day to day.
Yes.
And
that
so for
school.
them at the private school, it's difficult.
No, it is. No matter what.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Because middle schoolers are middle schoolers.
Everything's hard.
And ding-dong kids are everywhere.
Yeah.
As we have said, bad apples are everywhere.
Sure.
We have seen some of that this year, and we've had to overcome some stuff, and we're still in the middle of some of it.
Yeah, just some stuff that you haven't been presented with before.
Yeah.
And then it does just because their brains are so mixed up.
It's tough.
That age range, your brain's just trying to figure out, are you independent? Are you still reliant? Can you cuss? And is that cool?
Yes.
And all these things that are happening within them. Then there's puberty. Then there's hormones.
And that's such a big part of it.
And that's just what's making it all just go wild.
It's tough.
But it is in a whole like that age range is just really hard. So when you hear people say, and middle school just sucks. Like that wasn't my experience, especially with Bella. She didn't have hard middle school years. And with Lily, maybe a little bit more because they started middle school in COVID. And in public school, they were off forever.
Yeah.
And so it was very, very hard because then by the time kids came into middle school, halfway through their second year, none of them knew how to act.
They had no social skills.
There were no social skills.
Yeah.
They couldn't remember what it was like to even raise their hand for a teacher because they had been learning on black Zoom boxes for 21 months. So you combine that already hard with puberty, with middle school, with figuring things out. And it was like a recipe. I mean, I just feel really bad for the principal, the administrators, and everything. It was very, very hard. And there just happened to be a group of just terrible boys in that class. And I will say it publicly here on this podcast. I won't say anybody's name, but I will tell you there was just a group of just bad boys who their entire goal was to create chaos in that school. Whether it was being mean to people, vandalism, just knocking people down, calling people really, really bad names, slurs. I mean, just intentional chaos is what they were trying to cause.
We need to bring back like shame. I just think that
there's not enough of it. You can't.
People don't have shame anymore, and we don't want to shame anybody, and we want to be tender, and we want to be compassionate, and those things can be good. But at some point, people do run out of chances.
Yep, they do.
They run out of chances, and so we have to call them out. And I know it is harder, I think, in a public school setting,
Mm-hmm.
at least from what teacher Michelle has said. It's really, really hard to expel a kid.
It's very hard.
The
Yep.
standard for behavior and like the hoops you have to jump through and the paperwork and the documentation to get a kid out is extensive.
And some of what we were told when we would bring it to the school's attention is, well, some of them have already been expelled to this school. They've already been switched over and there's nowhere else for them to go.
But now that's y'all's problem?
Correct. Or, there's not a parent in the home that can take the child because homeschool is now the only option.
Right.
Because it's potentially a single parent situation or something like that. And then it's, well, there's no resources to then send a teacher to the house and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, so they just get to cause chaos.
Yeah.
And that ringleader just goes like this.
I know it. It's a poison.
Right? Just spreads down into the other boys who are like, I know that this isn't right, but I don't want him to turn on me.
Yes.
So now I have to be mean too.
Yes.
Even though it's not even in my nature.
The peer pressure.
Because I've seen these kids from, Lily went to school with them forever. I'm like.
From when they were little boys. Like
I know you're a good kid. Like I wanted to look at one of them and be like, I know your mom. I know your brother. I know you're a good kid. Don't let this happen to you.
Yes.
Do not be swept up in this. But, it's a game of numbers, and some kids just don't want to be the ones to go against the mean bully. And so they bully so that they don't get bullied. It's terrible.
This was something, it's funny, I was actually going to ask you about, just like literally friend to friend.
Uh-huh.
And then I thought, well, maybe I ask her on the pod because many of us are in this phase. We've got kids in all different grades and we're dealing with things. Mm-hmm. I know that your girls have walked through some friend things where maybe you were close with someone and then that person begins to change. Mm-hmm. We are walking through that with a child and there have been tears.
Mm-hmm. Same, yeah.
There have been some tears. There's been, and it's been really hard for me, again, like knowing these kids for so long, these other children, and being like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, I kind of want to go to the kids and be like, why are you doing this? Why are you now trying to be popular? Why does this matter to you so much? So much so that you're willing to either abandon, make fun of, pick on your friends who have been so good to you all this time. So my question to you is, as we all know, Miranda's like a few steps ahead of me, and maybe some of you all too. So what have you done? What do you say to your girls? What is the advice you have given that has like soothed that for your girls?
It has been absolutely the hardest thing to walk through with one of the girls is a friendship breakup.
Yeah.
It's happened to one out of the two. And it's by far the hardest parenting thing I've walked either one of my kids through. And it was months long of daily tears, losing weight, losing hair, feeling terrible, throwing up. Like the physical response to this friendship breakup was horrific. And we're still dealing with it.
Yes, still
dealing with No, it's still. We're still ILL dealing EAL. Still dealing with it.
Yeah.
And it's been brutal. And there wasn't anything good to say. So in everything, right, it's the affirmation. So whenever your kid comes to you with something that they are really struggling with, our nature is to fix, try to fix, or say, don't worry about it. That's not a big deal, right? One of the two. When really all they want to do is be affirmed and validated. So it's, I understand this is so hard.
Yes.
This sounds awful. I've had friendship breakups too.
Yes.
They are the worst. They're worse than romantic breakups.
I know. I think they are. When it's a long-term, like really close friend, it can be harder.
Absolutely.
Than just a boyfriend-girlfriend.
Yeah, because a boyfriend-girlfriend, I think a lot of times, well, one, they don't last as long as girlfriend friendships.
True.
But two, there is something, right? It's either I can't see myself marrying you, so it's best we go our separate ways.
Yeah.
Or you have done something to me that I will not compromise.
Yes.
And so we are going to go our separate ways.
Yes.
But with girlfriends, it's kind of like, well, certainly we can work through this.
Yeah.
There's I don't have to be married to you. I don't have to share bills with you. I don't have to have children with you.
Yeah.
It's not that deep.
Yeah.
Like certainly, but then you realize they can hurt you more even. Like that can be even more hurtful.
Yes.
So it's been very tough. So first off is like validate, right? Like this is terrible. Don't be like, oh, it doesn't matter. Your best friends really come in college.
Okay.
Like part of me knows that.
Yeah, and you want to say that, like, the best years are ahead of you. Don't stress about this. It's not a big deal, but it is a big deal to them.
Exactly, and that's true. Like, I know looking back, sure, am I lucky enough to still be friends with some of my girlfriends from middle school and high school? Absolutely. But I also know the friends I made in college.
Yeah.
And how much I cherish them.
Yes.
And how those are oftentimes the ones that kind of go through the rest of your life with you. And so as much as I want to say that to my children and say, hey, you're going to find your best friends in college.
Yeah.
Just buy your time here.
Yeah.
Kind of, and it's all coming ahead. Don't worry about this. That doesn't help. Yeah. It doesn't fix things. So I do say like, hey, when you do get to college, I'm hoping that you find lifelong friends the same way I did. Yeah. Right? So like you can use those kinds of statements. Yeah. But really it's just like, this is terrible. How can I best support you? Yeah. So if you're really upset about the friend stuff, then me harping on your dirty room is probably not the right call right now. Right? Like if she's already crying and I'm looking around going, clean this room. Oh my God, this room's making me nuts. Yeah. But like time and place. Right? Yeah. You would want the same done for you. Right. If you were crying on your husband's shoulders, you wouldn't want him to be like, are you going to put away your clothes after you pull it together? Like just dry those tears.
I would blow a gasket.
Literally. Right. So don't do that to your kids either. Yeah. Instead, I'm just like, hey, I know that you're spending a lot of time in your room because you're really upset. If you wanted to distract yourself.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good distraction.
If you're looking for a distraction, why don't you turn on music and try to go through this closet? Because I know that we're needing to like pare some stuff down.
I mean, they say when you clear your space, you also clear your mind a bit.
Exactly. And so I've tried to use that too. But like, just think of how you would want to be treated when you're in grief about something. Yeah.
It's tough because I remember so much about middle school, high school. Like I have all these memories and I really try to kind of transport my mind back there and say, okay, young Kristen, like what would you have wanted? What did you need from your mom, from your parents to say to you? Because now when you're older, you do have the wisdom and you do learn, hey, the real deal friendships come later. I mean, I've had my child list off for me, who are my best friends? Name them for me. Name them.
Name them.
And when they do, I can say, I met most of these people in my late 20s.
Yep, as an adult.
Yep. And you know that these are my best friends now.
But all they're hearing in their brain is, so I have 15 more years to go without a good friend.
Exactly.
I just have to wait.
Because that feels like an eternity for them.
One day feels like an eternity for them. So that's not as helpful. It's more just like, how can I best support you in this right now? What is making you the most upset? Yeah. Oh, okay. So what I'm hearing is it's actually the loss of the dreams. It's the loss of, well, we were planning on going to this together and I saw her at my such and such party and I saw us doing this and I saw us doing that. And now I've realized none of that's going to come true. And like, it's always okay to mourn the loss of a dream. It's always okay.
What do you say about that kid? If there's a specific friend, I know we have a lot we would want to say out loud, right? Like you and I could really pop off.
I have.
Yeah. And I have popped a little bit.
I popped off.
But I'm trying to say, continue to just be your good, kind self.
Stay true to you. Yeah. Continue to be who you are because that clearly attracted this person to you to begin with.
True.
So there was nothing wrong with you. Yeah. Right? Because they wanted to be your friend then. So if you feel like you're still the same person, then that person changed, not you.
Right.
So they've now changed what kind of friend they're looking for. So it's not that you did anything. It's just they've changed what they're looking for in a friendship.
Okay.
So that has nothing to do. There's nothing more or less that you could have done.
Okay.
So do you like who you are? Great. So then maybe they don't like who you are still.
Right.
Because they're looking for something different.
Right.
If you don't want to change who you are, then y'all are at an impasse anyway.
That's it.
It was going to dissolve no matter what.
And the right people will find you with you just being you.
And at some point we do have to get comfortable with just saying like, we are not meant to be in each other's lives forever.
True.
We are all changing. We are different people, constantly evolving. And it's just good when you can change together.
Yeah.
Today is our 14-year friendship anniversary.
Oh my gosh, we never said that to each other.
Today is our 14-year friendship anniversary.
Y'all, today, 14 years.
We met. 14 years ago was the Jersey Shore party.
You guys.
Heard the story.
Oh my gosh.
What episode was that? What episode did we tell that
you know what's interesting? We need to do.
Oh, wait.
I don't think we have ever actually fully told it because I think it was part of the
launch.
The launch episode. We sort of touched on it, but we never actually like told it.
We didn't?
I don't know. We could use Dana's trick to go back and check.
Yeah.
The pods, but
it was 14 years ago today.
14 years ago today was Lisa Strump's Jersey Shore party.
Yep.
Where we met.
Yep.
And
I talked about it when I applied for Pictionary.
Oh, we need to tell everybody.
Yeah, well,
about Pictionary.
Yeah, so we're hoping Elizabeth Barracks tipped us off. Barracks? Barracks or Barracks?
I think it's Barracks.
Barracks, okay.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Barracks, who cooks for us, La Casita. Okay. She was like, y'all need to apply for this. You'd be so good. And it's, the Pictionary game show.
Yes.
But guess who hosts it?
Jerry
O'Connell.
And he loves Bravo.
We've met him at BravoCon.
Yes.
We have pictures with him.
Yes.
So I'm like, oh, he'll definitely remember us, of course.
Surely.
Got to get in there. So she sent us the application. And, we're just trying to rack up as much TV momentum as we can get before The Amazing Race. And it's not a competitive. These don't compete with each other, so we can make both of these shows happen.
Yes,
and it does fit with our filming better for Pictionary.
Absolutely.
So we are applying for that, and I actually filled out the entire application minus half of one question. And because I'm a dum-dum, hey, pro tip, folks, when you are opening something in Instagram, if someone sends you a DM, right, and like you open that link, you're stuck in Instagram forever.
Yeah, until you're done with that website, you're stuck in the Instagram website.
Yes, and so I filled out everything. It took me hours to fill out. This is what I did all morning long before we shopped. I filled out this Pictionary thing. I have to fill out my stuff. Then she has to fill out her stuff. And then they kind of like look at your teammates' answers to see who y'all are, really, and how you're answering about each other, and it's going to be so fun. Can't wait to be on it. Anyway, fill out the whole damn thing except for half of one question because it asked, what's your brief story? What's your funniest, briefest anecdotal story?
And she was like, ugh.
I don't know how to do a brief anecdotal funny story.
Like, where do I begin?
Yeah, so I was just like, okay, well, that hung me up for a second. And so we go to shop, and by the time I come back into it, it has timed out. So when you are opening up a link in a DM or something like that, just open press the top 3 buttons. It says open in external browser.
Yep.
And click on that, and then it'll bump you to a new tab in Safari or Chrome or Google or whatever your engine is.
Yeah.
Search engine.
And then it stays there.
And you can fill it out the whole time. Someone else is probably like, or you could just do it on your computer. You could do that as well.
I probably will do mine on the computer.
I will actually now do it on the computer.
Yes,
because I'm not going to be caught slipping again.
No, ma'am.
And
then you can actually use the keyboard to type in your answers.
So much easier. And I might be able to see better on the computer.
Oh, you want to tell people about your vision?
Yeah.
Your lack of vision.
My lack of vision. But there was something else we were saying. But it's our 14-year anniversary.
Oh, yes. It is our 14 years. This is very exciting.
Came back to it.
And that means that year 15 is next year. And we should really think about what we want to do to celebrate that. So we have 1 year to plan it.
I think our 15-year friendship anniversary needs to be like some big live podcast event.
I think so. I think it's a big event.
That's the only answer.
In Charlotte.
That's it.
Something we want to do.
Yes, that's what we'll end up doing because it needs to be about celebrating us and how far we've come.
Yes.
And back to like the female friendships thing, I don't think I've done anything as consistent as being friends with you.
Oh.
I really don't think so. As far as female friendships are concerned,
oh, yeah.
I don't think I've had anything as consistent because like even Sandy and Meryl, who I've known longest, we don't talk or even see each other once a year.
That ebbs and flows.
But like you're so consistent, but that's because of the effort you put into this friendship.
No, you put it in too. We both do. Because we like each other that much.
I think it's 80-20 probably you. I wish it were 50-50. I wish that I had that in me. But you are the planning. You are the let's get together.
Sure.
Let's go here. Let's do this. And that really sustains it, because you are carving out longer chunks of time.
Yes.
Whereas I would be like, we'll go grab lunch. We'll go do this or whatever.
Let's go to Azteca.
But you're really good about the longer time, and that's when when I look back on our memories, I think about the late mountain house nights.
Yes.
And I think about things that just it's just so special.
Aww.
It's so special. So thanks
we
for
did
sticking
it, y'all.
with me.
You guys, 14 years. I'm already thinking about the 15. Look. Don't fly away.
Here's us.
Yes.
Here's us. I'm still Wiley. She's still Norman.
Yes, stop.
Still.
They're the same size.
There's
those cats.
Kristen.
On her arm.
The disco cowgirl. Okay, so so it is our 14-year anniversary. I wanted to make sure that I remembered to say happy anniversary.
I'm so glad you did. It's in my calendar. It's a yearly reminder.
Yep.
That's how I know every time that it's May 22nd.
Mm-hmm.
But then I never glanced at it.
I can't believe it's in your yearly calendar. That is so funny. I had no clue until you told me last week, but thank God I remembered. Yeah. And then, okay, so back to this. Just tell your kids, as I do know that I want to go hard on the other kid, but truthfully, we don't know what's going on with them. There could be stuff at home.
That's
there
true.
could be something that we just aren't being privy to or whatever.
Yeah,
and so
you're right.
I try to be like, maybe this friendship wasn't going to last anyway, so it's going to end at some point. I would rather end when I'm right here to hold you, console you through it, talk to you, and everything else. And now you've gotten that little bit of experience and a little bit of a callus, unfortunately. But this is now how you can use this going forward when maybe it does happen in college or in your adulthood. Because if you never go through anything, that first one is always the hardest.
Yes.
And
oh my gosh.
I mean, it is brutal. It is brutal to go through it, but you have to so that you know what to do the next time. And it teaches you how to be a better friend too, I think, ultimately. And what do you want out of friendships? And it's okay for that to change for you as well.
Yeah.
And so it just sucks the way it ends. It just, the way that it's ended has been has been the hardest thing, because ultimately, whether you're accused of something you feel like you didn't do, or you're the villain in somebody else's story, or somebody got a whole thing wrong, or went through a grapevine or the game of telephone and eventually it was way bigger than what it was really meant to be. All of that happens, and it sucks because you feel like you've said your piece and you've tried to hear it out, let them hear you out, you've heard them out, and you still cannot come to an agreement. Well, then we're at an impasse.
It's the truth.
That is what it is, and it is time to just be done. And it doesn't mean that you can't be sad, and it doesn't mean that you can't mourn the loss of this best friend dream, but ultimately it's a time in a season.
It's tough, but I like what you're saying, where I would rather this be happening when I can hold their hand through it and support them. If they need me to rage with them, I'm really good at that.
Yep.
If they need me to sit and wipe the tears, if we need to make an action plan,
there's been a lot of that
forward, it's tough because you don't want anyone else to make your kid feel less than.
No, you don't.
And that is a little bit what we've been doing with, where it's like, oh, well, I don't want to be friends with you anymore. You're not cool. And what I want to do is I want to wring everybody's neck in middle school and point at them and say, none of you are cool.
Nothing's cool.
None of you are cool.
No.
And the only one getting anywhere close is Dice Davis.
Yeah.
He's the only kid. He's the only kid in this school even maybe getting close to being cool.
Oh my gosh, Jen. I heard what Dice wore today, and I 100% approve, and I want to borrow the Costco sweatshirt. So
Dice I could see him from far away, that he had on a hoodie with a red blazer, skinny jeans and boots. And I go, this kid.
Love it.
But little did I know that the little pattern on the sweatshirt was the tiny Costco logo.
I love that.
All over this sweatshirt. I'm like, where do we get the little Costco sweatshirt?
Hopefully it's at Costco, because I have a membership.
Yes.
So I want to go.
I want it too.
I want it.
I'm telling you,
he's so cool.
He's a style icon. He's naturally cool.
Yeah.
His parents are cool.
He's tall.
His sisters are cool after the event.
Yeah.
Decker came up to me. She looked at me. She said, I like your hair. I like your eyes. I like your makeup, your jewelry, your outfit, your shoes. And then Dune comes up and she goes, but you're not tan anymore.
That's right, because the last time Dune saw you, you were so. Was it during this video? Because you were so tan.
I said, I'm not tan anymore. Dune, you're right.
That
the
is
tan
so
will
funny.
come back, but then it was a learning moment. I looked at both of them. I said, it is a fake tan, and I need you girls to wear your sunscreen. Do you want to have good skin when you're at my age? Then you need to be wearing your sunscreen. Say yes, ma'am. Okay, yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
That
All of the Davis kids are cool.
The Davis kids are cool.
Their parents are cool. That tracks.
And they're just beautiful.
They're beautiful.
These
My
children.
God. Beautiful. Again, their parents are
Their
gorgeous.
parents, yeah.
Those are 2 rights made 5 rights. And I don't know what the law of probability is there in the genetic, lottery, but the Davises hit it. The
2 rights made 5 rights.
They did. That does not always happen. 2 rights can make a wrong in just one kid.
We've seen it.
In just one kid.
We've seen it.
And
2 wrongs can make a right.
2 wrongs make a right. And you're just like, wow, wowie wow.
I
and
love
that's
it.
amazing too. Genetics are wild.
It's the
But
best.
all I'm saying is, wow, those Davises, they did 2 rights, made 5 rights.
Yes.
And that's a mathematical equation that you can take forever.
I did tell
Put
Jen.
it in your pocket.
I said, Dice to me is a pillar in that school. Literally, because he is so tall.
He is holding it up, actually.
Yes.
He can reach the ceiling, so he's just raising the roof. God, I'm old.
Raise the roof.
Shut up, Miranda.
But he is, I think, a really good example of, he does ooze that just natural coolness, but he's never going to come down on anybody. He's never going to be unkind. He knows how to treat people right.
Love that.
It's just, and I just feel like nowadays those kids are so rare.
No, yeah, they are so rare. But also, like, I just wish that parents weren't so focused on making their kids cool.
Well, it's got to stop.
I wish that the parents didn't live vicariously through their children so much so that they were more concerned with making their kid cool and have all the coolest things than just worrying about their character. It seems like the character is taking a back seat to the coolness.
It is.
I don't know what's happening. It's okay if your kids have a generic skirt instead of Lululemon. It's okay if your kids still want to carry an Nalgene instead of a Stanley. It's okay if you get your kids a Gab instead of the new iPhone 17 or whatever effing number they're on now when they turn 9.
Yeah.
Like, your kid doesn't have to be cool. And actually, none of that makes them cool.
No, it doesn't.
None of it makes them cool.
And I think it's giving a skewed view of what cool is.
Stop buying into that.
When we should know better as the adults, y'all.
Yes.
We should know better to be able to say to them, actually what makes a really well-liked person for like longevity in their life as an adult is someone who is kind.
Yeah.
Someone who's loyal. Yeah. Someone who's there for their people and shows up for their people.
Yes.
That those are the attributes you want your kids to end up with. Not someone who's like, well, I got to look the part and I got to smell the part and I got to have the right friends and I got to be popular. That is what we're experiencing right now.
That makes me nuts.
It makes me nuts too.
It makes me nuts.
And I'm sitting here going, where are the parents? Because if my kids were mistreating their friends over stuff like that, it would all be taken away.
Absolutely.
Let's be clear.
Absolutely.
It would all be taken away.
Yes.
You
if
are
I
now
heard that you were degrading somebody because of the brand of their shoe, you would walk barefoot.
Electric chair.
All of your shoes would be gone.
That's it.
Just walk barefoot. Oh, the school won't allow you in without shoes on? Well, then I guess we've learned our lesson. Because you can't be cool at school if you're not allowed in the building because no shoes, no shirt. No problem.
No service.
No service. Can't get in. Then walk barefoot. And I hope you step on a nail and that your tetanus shot isn't up to date.
Yeah.
I said it.
And insurance sucks, so you're not going to have that covered. It's going to cost
Sorry. Now you're amputated. So guess what? Was it worth it for making fun of your friend's shoes? And maybe I'm just projecting because I got picked on for not having K-Swisses back in the day.
I didn't have any brand name stuff.
I never had any of that. And they think that it's going to be easier because of uniforms. I went to Catholic school, as we all know by now.
Tell me
but
about
I wore uniforms all the time. And that didn't fix it because then the kids flexed their money through their shoes, through accessories, through their handbags.
And then eventually what they drive. I feel like.
But even their book bags. I mean, people carrying around North Faces or wearing North Face jackets instead of like, my hand-me-down Walmart one from Jackie or whatever. Like, people were still able to flex their money. Do I think it helps somewhat? I think uniforms help in like the ease of what we know we're wearing to get dressed and things like that. But for people who are like, it just levels the playing field. You are high.
Yeah.
If you think uniforms level the playing field,
No.
I still know. And you even based it on like the cleanliness of people's polos.
Ooh.
You know who was not as clean or whatever.
Yes. You could tell if it was hand-me-down, if it's not fresh to death.
Absolutely. There were still the logos on the polos.
Yeah.
Or lack thereof.
Okay.
So it was still being seen. This is just, it's a tale as old as time. And I know that we're not talking about anything new, this yearn to be cool and how you're showing off through money and things like that. But we as the parents get to decide this.
That's it for me.
We have the power and the control. And so what that means is if you are yourself scratching your head going, why does this matter? Then tell your kids that doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
You can still validate them and be like, I can understand why people think this is cool, but I'm going to tell you here in this house, we don't think that name brand water bottle's cool.
Right.
Because I'm going to teach you what I think really makes someone cool.
Yes.
And also that is just like cool is a moving target constantly. And as long as you are trying to be cool, you will never be because the target is always moving.
Yes.
And you will always feel like you are falling short. You will always feel like it. So instead, let me hear, why do you really want it? What is this really about? Let's dig deep and find out. And that's what I ask my kids all the time. And they still don't give a rat's about anything.
Yeah.
Name brand or whatever. Bella thrifts all of her clothes or sews them.
Which to me makes them way more cool.
Because it's one of a kind. No one's going to wear. Bella tomorrow she's wearing like a yellow skirt with a lemon crocheted top.
Yes.
That someone gave her this weekend in Atlanta, like a house that they went to. Her and cannot be named.
Yes. Her and Voldemort.
Uh-huh.
Her and her boyfriend Voldemort.
Yes. They went to a board game convention.
They did not.
Yes, they did.
Now, was this for his game?
Yeah.
That he's invented?
Yes. Went and tested it with like all these other board game designers and inventors, and they all played each other's games and got great feedback. And Bella played games before they by other inventors before they go to market. She was like, some of these were so much better than any game that's on the market now.
Shut up.
Yeah, it was.
How did
so
his
awesome.
do?
His did really well. He got great feedback. People loved playing it. He felt very confident. Bella said,
"This is exciting.
I've never been like more in love than watching him in his element and be so happy and be doing what he does best." And she was like, I fell even more in love with him. It was so great to see.
Again, just the purest feelings and emotions.
I know.
It's all, again, I know we're talking about like hard friendship things, but as you always say, look for the good.
Nah.
And there is so much good.
Yes.
And what I've been saying to my kids is like, open your eyes and look around.
Look around.
And see who are the people that are really ride or die.
Yep.
Who are the people that have shown up for me all this time?
Yep.
Who are the people that don't care if I look like this or that?
Mm-hmm.
Those are the people you need to lean into.
That's right. And also when one of those friends disappears, moves on, finds better,
yes,
whatever that is, there is some kid who has probably been desperate to be seen by you or someone else.
So look around.
And maybe it opens up this time for you to go and find that person.
That's such good advice.
And you might like change their life.
Yes.
Like you are losing one of many friends, but you could be their only friend.
Yeah.
So like, is there someone like that you can give some time to? Really look around. Think about the people who in your class are kind of constantly trying to talk to you, but maybe it's just like a one-off, oh yeah, okay, oh no, I like that too. But now really think like that person is pouring into me. They are always asking me questions.
Yeah.
I'm just giving them one-word answers.
They always want to like partner up in class.
Yeah, like
or
figure out why that is. And maybe now that this one friendship's closing and you don't have to dedicate any time or mental space or energy to them, it can open up for this other person. And you might find that person was way more like you.
Yes.
Way more into spending time with you, wants to write you back, wants to make plans. And that could be like the lifelong friend. And that would have never happened without this other one. So kind of like the one door closes, another one opens.
I
but
love
that really could be true.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell my kids.
It's really, but this is hard. Friendship breakups, watching your kids go through it, absolutely the hardest thing I've ever done with one of my children.
Well,
I'm lucky to say that. I'm lucky that's been our hardship. I get that. I know people have walked through so much worse with their kids. But when they are that age, this is kind of the biggest thing that's ever happened.
And harder things are going to come. We know that.
Absolutely.
But this is what's just so mightily important to them. Like this is what's on their minds. This is what's affecting them day to day. I think especially in middle school, like you said, the hormones and the changing. And
well, there's nothing else to look at. They don't have jobs to go to,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They don't have children. It's about like we have all these distractions that when something's really hard, we're like, okay, well, so is all this other stuff.
Yeah.
But for our kids and their privilege
Yeah.
and everything else, it's kind of like, oh yeah, this is the biggest, hardest thing. We can remember that. We can put ourselves in that position and remember that. But also, it's just what can we look at that's positive? Let's find the things that are positive in our life.
Yeah.
Let's list those out. Write them down.
Yeah.
Let's go, for ice cream, whatever. It's just the typical of they're in grief. And what would you do with someone in grief? You don't platitude them to death. You don't say, well, everything happens for a reason, even though this friend's leaving you. It's for a reason. You'll eventually know it is. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't discount their grief. Don't try to rush it and fix it. It's all the same things. Really what it is it's just grief. It all comes down to grief.
And that makes me so sad.
I know, but
I don't like to think about sad things.
I know. Our kids have such great lives and they, as a whole, have so much to be thankful for. And so this is going to seem really hard because it's one of very few things that's going wrong in their life.
Yeah.
And that's ultimately a really great place to be for our children, that this is so hard because everything else is so good.
You're right.
And they can recognize that. Children can recognize that. So perspective is a beautiful thing.
It is. You will you'll love what I was going to tell you is Tinsley won that award and
the Joshua Award, by the way, right? Is that what you said she won? Was the Joshua Award?
Joshua or Joseph?
Was it Joshua or Joseph?
I think it was Joshua.
You said Joshua first.
I think it's Joshua. This is terrible.
Because if it is, I want to tell you a great story about Joshua after yours.
Well, I just thought Sloppy Joe is what came to my mind.
So then maybe it is Joseph.
So I think maybe it was Joseph.
Dang it.
But I saw her. She came up. She was running up after with her award, and I was like, Sloppy Joe! And this is from Bravo, if you don't know.
It is Joseph.
Joseph. But I just thought, what is wrong with me? That this is where my mind goes. My kid wins this fantastic award, and I'm just like, Sloppy Joe!
Because all roads lead back to Bravo. That's why. The amount of answers on the Pictionary thing talking about our friendship, it was like, what are your hobbies? Bravo. Where do you guys like to go together? BravoCon. We met Jerry at BravoCon. Like, everything was Bravo. And I get that, like, this is a very humongous part of our life. So maybe I'm the dum-dum for, why do people think this is a Bravo podcast? We do talk about it. It's in our lexicon that your daughter won an award, a Joseph Award, and all you thought about
Joe
was Schwartzy's roommate / bang buddy. So maybe that is.
So she was like, Sloppy Joe. And I was like, never mind. Congratulations, honey.
We're so proud of you. Tinsley is exceptional. She is such a sweet girl.
We
were talking about her last night in our house.
Oh, that's nice.
We were talking about Tinsley last night in our house, just like how she's so normal. Like, I want that to be a compliment, but like, she's just, there's no airs about her.
No.
I know that I can talk to her just like a normal person, that she's not a kid who annoys adults.
Yeah. No.
But she also doesn't annoy kids. Like, she's just exactly right.
Yeah.
And I was saying that last night. I was
kind
just
of seamlessly blends into whatever the situation is that we have found ourselves in.
I just find that a lot of kids are just trying to be something that they're not at that age.
I know.
Going back to what we're saying. And Tinsley doesn't do that.
No.
And it's so refreshing. And Lily didn't do that either. So there's something about those kind of quieter, confident kids that needs to be studied.
Yeah.
Like,
well, here's just a very small example of that.
Yeah.
Y'all are all still doing it, mothers, but all the girls are doing it now where they like to wear dirty sneakers with their very beautiful dresses.
Right.
And so we've seen that.
They watched all their mothers do that for like 7 years.
So they've watched all of y'all do it. And so now the middle schoolers are doing it. And they think they look so good in their beautiful dress and then their Nike Dunks. Yeah. And I'm going, this is so bad. It's so bad. And so we've been to a few ceremonies over the school year. We've seen this up close. We've seen it at the Honor Society. We've seen it at the speech meet. We've seen it at all these things.
The band concerts, everything.
Band concert.
Yeah.
And good Tinsley today. She puts on her nice dress we had gotten her. and she puts on these very cute little booties with a little heel.
As we've always said, you can't go wrong with a little booty with a
little
heel.
booty.
Just do it.
And she looked so pulled together. And sure enough, these kids are walking on stage, and I'm like, Nike Dunks, Nike Dunks.
Just hearing the squeaking.
Oh my gosh. And I'm telling you, from the kneecap up, these girls are darling. They are stunning. They are beautiful. And I'm just sitting here going, why are we allowing this?
Kristen has been complaining about this since episode 1.
Since episode 1.
She has.
And it persists. Here we are 18 months later.
Yeah,
and because y'all insisted on doing this, it's now trickled down into 7th grade.
Yeah.
And these girls are thinking like, I look good. And I'm just so proud of Tinsley.
For doing it without you even saying it, because usually you do dress her head to toe, and there's no option anyway. And she would have had to change if she had come down in sneakers.
She put the right shoe on. And she looked so good, the right jewelry, everything.
So, Tinsley, congratulations on your award, but mostly on the shoe choice.
Know that. I'm really proud of you for that.
Okay, let me tell you about my book of the Bible, Joshua story.
Yes, I'm very excited about this.
So it kind of is twofold. When I met Joshua, he told me his name was not Joshua, but he was allowed to just pick a random name.
Have we told them this?
I don't know, but my man Joshua's nowhere in his name.
Yeah.
Okay? He was Brian James Miller growing up, but he went by BJ.
Yeah, and then he eventually realized BJ wasn't a great name.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so God bless all the BJs out there. Figuratively and literally.
Yes. And the warehouse. Isn't there like a BJ's warehouse?
There is. Of all the things that they could have named it, they said, let's do BJ's Wholesale.
It's right next to Dick's.
Let's do it. I love it. Okay. Strategically placed there, as we know. So he wanted to, and he was named after his father. So, right? I think he's
Brian Jr. He's Brian Jr. That is 100%.
But I'm like, is his dad's middle name's James too? Like, is he a full junior that way? I don't know.
I don't know about that.
Don't know. But anyway, when his parents divorced, he moved to a totally different place, and he was like, I want to go by something else.
He can start over.
I can start over. I can name myself anything. Mom, can I do that? And she was like, sure. So she didn't care. So I thought that the story was, and I don't know if I made this up or if this is what he first told me, but then maybe I got something wrong. But I thought that he just like opened the book of the Bible and picked Joshua. Okay. Now he has deep regrets because what did he think he should have picked?
Zeke. And I sometimes will call him Zeke.
Sometimes.
Often.
Mostly. On this here podcast, she has had to say Joshua, but just know that in text and in group things,
I call him Zeke.
And at the mountain house, and if she's writing his name on something, a birthday card, it's always Zeke.
It's Zeke. Because I think he does give Zeke.
Okay, he does, but that's not his name.
But why can't we dabble in it? Why not?
No. Because he already picked another random name. He's already on his first He's already on the first
I think when y'all move to Medicine Bow, he will become Zeke.
No.
I do, because it's going to be a fresh start. He doesn't know anybody.
If he wants me to be there, no.
Okay.
Oh, that's why you're pushing it. You're like, go by Zeke. She'll divorce you. She'll stay home and bing, bang, boom, done. I see what's happening here.
And we can continue this 14-year friendship.
We are going to. Okay, so I think, no, this is the story because Ezekiel's also in the Bible. So I think he was wrestling between Ezekiel and Joshua.
Got it.
Okay, so he picks Joshua.
Okay.
So I know this story and I'm like, oh, wow, that's a really like interesting story. So you just are Joshua. You just went to school and just said, my name's Joshua. And people are like, okay.
Yeah.
And that was it. Because God forbid me go by my real name, Miranda, instead of Mandy, my nickname, which isn't even short for Miranda.
Correct.
And everybody is up in arms about the fact that I decided to go by my actual name.
Yeah.
Yet everybody's walking around just calling Brian James BJ Miller Joshua or Zeke. Okay. So that's a little annoying, but whatever.
Randa and Zeke.
Okay.
That's a cute couple.
Randa does not sound like a cute girly wearing a dress.
Zeke and Randa.
No, I don't know.
It goes with Zeke is what I'm saying.
Okay, I like Red and Randa a little bit better.
Okay.
But stop trying to make Zeke. You're making Zeke like fetch, and it's not going to happen. Okay.
Podcasts, you know you agree with me.
We'll take a poll. So I know this story. Well, I'm going to tell you about the one and only time Joshua and I broke up.
I don't know this.
Speaking of breakup.
I do not know this.
Whoa, wee, wow. Well, buckle up, baby.
Here we
We're
go.
We're about to get into it.
Woo.
Because only time that we've broken up in our relationship. And we were talking about friendship breakups. We were talking about Joshua. We were talking about breakup. And I'm like, oh, I got a story.
Yes.
So I used to work at University Nissan in Boone. I was a paperwork girl.
Okay.
And I had complained to Joshua that I had to work all day on a Saturday and I had so much to do. My apartment was a mess. I had this project and that, and I'm just so stressed out. And of course, he was just listening to me tizzy about. And I went to work, and this is before cell phones. And I was at work all day, and he had called to University Nissan where he could call me on an office phone. And I had said, I get off at 5. I'll probably be home around 5:15 if we want to do dinner or something. He's like, okay, I'll be at your apartment waiting for you. I'm like, great. We didn't live together yet. So I was late. Something had happened at the dealership, got caught up. I worked kind of in conjunction with the service department. So if something took extra long, mechanically or whatever, then the last car leaves, I can finally get going. Thing. Okay. So I didn't get home till maybe 5:45. Okay. And when I get there, he's standing outside my apartment. And the very first thing I was like, where have you been?
Oh, no. And you didn't want to hear that. Not in that moment.
Where have I been? You know where I've been. I've been at work all day.
Oh, did he think you were out on these streets? He did not.
That was the implication I was getting, and that doesn't sit well with me. Now, did he say that? No. Has he ever implied that about me? No. Has he ever accused me of that? No. Nothing. But in that moment, what took you so long? I was like, well, I wasn't riding another man.
I wasn't bent over.
Yeah, what are you saying? I literally lost my mind. Lost my mind. I was like, no, I wasn't getting ganged banged by half of the Appalachian football team, Joshua.
You're like, come smell this cooch.
Yeah, I don't know what you think happened.
Let me prove it.
But I can assure you that I was at University Nissan following away Vin's.
I mean, that's only 30 minutes late.
I know, which I kind of am a late girly.
Yeah, 30 minutes is not bad.
Also, you should know me better than that, Joshua.
I mean, if it was 7:15, even still, I would think the reaction should be concern. Oh my gosh, where have you been? I was worried.
He would say that is what he was getting.
I know the tone of voice that it was. I know the tone of voice.
I was taking it as an accusation. He was taking it as concern. We were not comunicado.
No. Okay. Not meeting in the middle.
No. And so I jumped defensive immediately, which then makes him jump defensive immediately.
And then maybe he thought since you were defensive.
Well, why are you so defensive?
Yeah, you're trying to cover your tracks. But for you, you're just how dare you accuse? I would never.
Right. But again, all he said was,
where have you been?
or he said either not even, I think maybe he said what took you so long?
Okay, yeah.
Something like that. But either way, I was just well, what took me so long? I was at work, obviously. Work went long. No matter what, I just don't like what you're saying. I don't like it.
Yeah.
And he would say that he was very much concerned, and that's why he asked. And I took it as an accusation. So we're just at an, defensive. And I got very pissed, and he said something that enraged me even more.
Woo!
And I was just like, we're done.
Woo!
We're done.
You said, not today.
He called me out of my name in some way.
Yeah.
Okay? Called me out of my name in some way. It was more you're acting like a...
Ooh.
And I took that as you are directly calling me that.
Yeah.
And we're not going to do that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that in this relationship.
Yeah, because you know your worth.
Yeah,
and you're not going to do
I'm Gucci good. It's been real. It's been fun. You're so hot.
Yeah.
And that will be hard to get over.
I'll never do better.
You're the hottest guy I've ever had in my life.
I will never top this.
Never.
But it's time for you to go.
Yeah, everything is right. Physically,
Head to toe.
And you will go far in life. And I want to make babies with you and have those genetics. But not if you're going to call me that. So we're done. We're done. And have a good life.
Oh my gosh.
Goodbye.
It was I feel like sometimes fights, the one thing hits you just sideways and it just hits just the right pain point where you were probably hungry and you were tired and you had a project due and your house was a mess and all of these things.
But what do I dislike more than anything?
There's a lot.
Okay, that's true. That's a loaded question. I do not like to be accused.
No, you don't.
I do not like to be
accused. We don't like to be accused and we don't like to be made a fool.
Don't do that.
No.
Don't do that. And he would say, I wasn't accusing you of anything. I was actually concerned about where you were.
I mean, there are people to this day that have accused you of things and they've been cut out.
Absolutely. Don't do that.
So don't
call me a liar about anything. Do not accuse me of anything. No. I feel like my whole life I had to prove and prove and prove and say and just will you hear me out and please defend and believe me and this is why I should have been a lawyer.
Yep.
And so if someone does that to me at all in my adult life, I'm just I don't have to deal with this.
No, goodbye.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Electric chair.
Yeah.
So I'm goodbye, gone, we're done. We're breaking up. This is it.
So did he get in his car and leave?
He got in his car. And he left. And when I walked into my apartment.
Oh. What? What was in there?
He had cleaned the entire thing.
No.
To help me with my stress. And that's why he was so excited for me to get home.
No.
And that's why he was what took you so long? Because he was just so excited to open the door and me to see that it was spick and span. I mean, took sheets off the bed, washed, dried, wiped down everything, mopped, vacuumed, dusted, everything.
That's you standing in the door. That's me right now. I'm speechless.
It was.
I didn't expect this.
No.
This is a twist.
Yep.
In the story.
Yep.
I feel like I'm in your shoes right now hearing this.
Because we've all done that where we have popped off.
And there's no cell phones?
No. No cell phones. So
what did you do?
So he's already gone.
Oh, God.
He's gone.
Oh, no,
I've walked in. I've realized the reason why he was so excited and why he said, well, what took so long? And I feel real bad. Now, I still stick with don't call me out of my name. Okay?
Yeah.
No matter how much it went to and no matter, then just say we'll just come inside real quick.
Yeah. I mean, he should have just done that. He should have just said, no,
I don't remember that. I don't remember that.
No, I think if he had said, just come on inside, you would have.
I don't know. I can't remember, but I do know that he was just really excited to show me that he had cleaned everything for me. And Joshua worked full time, and I don't even know how he had the time off. He might have sacrificed going into work and getting in trouble just to appease me and to relieve me. And I felt terrible, and I decided, I decided to sleep on it.
Okay.
I did first, tell Tina, who was my roommate, that we had broken up. And I think I called my sister and was like, Joshua and I broke up. This is what happened. Word traveled quickly about that, I guess, amongst my family and friends and everybody. And they were like, don't say anything.
You're an idiot.
Yeah. I didn't tell them about the clean apartment.
Oh, my God.
I held on to my truth.
Okay.
But I know that I had called a few people. And anyway, the next morning was a Sunday morning. And this is at the time when I was sign language interpreting at a church, at a local church. And so my friend Sarah did it with me. And so we went to the church together. I looked like a wreck. I had been crying all night long. On the way there, I told her what had happened. And I was just like, I don't know what to do about it. Obviously, I need to be with him. And I know now why he was so excited for me to come home and why he asked that, but I can't even call him right now and check on him or see how he's doing or anything. And I think after I'm done with church, I might just go try to find him.
Yes.
Wherever he is, I'll go try to find him.
Yes, you need to drive around town and find him.
But I was also kind of or he could find me.
Well, but was he then thinking, well, she's going to walk in and see that apartment and now the ball's in her court?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. So I'm at the church and I've talked to Sarah about it and I'm just very upset and don't know what to do.
And so you
I'm
sat down with the pastor.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking for a sign.
Okay.
All right. So we're in the basement with all of our deaf kiddos.
I didn't know this was turning into a church story.
Oh, yeah. Get ready.
Okay.
So we're in the basement of the church in our deaf ministry room, and I look over at the whiteboard, and the week before we had written out all the books of the Bible.
Okay.
Right? So all the names of the books of the Bible, and asked one of the kids, "Hey, can you go erase the whiteboard so we can do our lesson this morning?" And so I send one of the kiddos off to do that, and I'm still on the other side of the room doing something else with another kiddo and signing and doing all the stuff. And Sarah says, "Hey, like, turn around." And the child had erased every single name except for Joshua. Yes. Swear on my life.
And you got to chill up your
So
sign.
I'm like,
shut up.
I had just
This
asked
random
God for
kid.
a sign.
The random kid.
A deaf child who did not hear any of the conversation between me and Sarah.
Yeah, he can't.
Literally didn't. We talked about that on the way in the car. We get there. I say to Sarah, I'm just going to look for a sign here. And this child goes over and erases every single one except for Joshua's, the only name left.
And then your friend was like, turn around.
Turn around. And I was like, okay, God, I got you. I hear you loud and clear.
Oh my gosh.
I see what you're trying to do here.
I can't believe it.
And it's like, you might try to erase everything else out of your life, but it can't be him.
Oh my gosh.
And so I make that decision. I will go find him no matter what. As soon as church is over, I will go find him. I will apologize, and I will see if we can get this relationship back.
Back on track, baby.
And so I drive home crying even some more, and I pull up into my apartment, and he's sitting on my stairs crying.
Oh my gosh, I love
With a bouquet
this.
of flowers.
Oh my gosh.
And he's like, I'm so sorry. I just was excited for you to see her. I was like, I'm so sorry. I know now. And you were cleaning my apartment. You're so nice. And you always put me first. And I can't believe that I just popped off like that. La, 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 la. So we were broken up for like 12 whole hours.
I was going to say, that sounds like a 12-hour
That's
breakup.
That's the only time we've broken it. It's the only time I've ever threatened to leave Joshua. The only time.
Yeah, I mean, Matt.
We had some.
Yeah, I mean,
we had some fights, y'all.
Yeah.
Way bigger than that.
Same.
Of course,
Like,
in a
we've had the
25-year relationship, you're going
Yeah.
to have them, but still I've never said I want to divorce you. I've never threatened
Yeah.
to separate, leave, or anything like. We don't throw that word out.
Yeah. I've walked up our hill. I have done that. Don't spit.
I got the visual of you literally walking up from your cul-de-sac in your beautiful neighborhood, just huffing and puffing with your halo flowing in the wind.
I was storming up the hill.
Because
and it was like night. I think it was.
Oh my.
It was like 10 p.m. And y'all, this was so long ago. Couldn't tell you what we fought about. Have no idea. No idea.
That just goes to show how dumb the fight is.
Oh, yeah.
You can't even remember
And
it, but you were willing to walk out the door.
I walked out the door and just walked up the road.
No.
And I took a right and then.
And you were like, where am I going? Literally, what happens from here? Where am I going?
I was like, I'm going to get killed.
Your parents live out of town. Your sister lives out of town. Where are you going?
Nowhere. I think
you had to turn back around.
I think I stood there, and then he came down maybe the driveway and just looked up at me up at the hill. And I just probably put my hands on my hips and was like, fix it.
But I'm sure he came and fixed it.
He did.
Yeah.
He did.
Well,
He knows how to fix.
I'm sure he does. Well, that's my story of the one time, but also the book of Joshua.
I know.
So that's why I was saying it would be cool if she won this Joshua award.
Well, I'll figure out you guys if it's Joseph or Joshua. It's the J-O for me. It's giving
whatever.
It's Sloppy Joe either way. It doesn't matter. It's Sloppy Joe.
Sloppy Joe or Sloppy Joe?
Joe.
That's so stupid.
Sloppy Joe. Okay, speaking of
not lockjaw,
not the lockjaw.
Sloppy Joe.
We suffer with that.
Yeah.
Speaking of fixing, do you want to tell people about your vision? Because I found this to be very shocking.
Y'all.
While we were shopping today, she said, "I just found out I can't see."
I'm shooketh. I'm shooketh about this because and
And she found out sitting in the doctor's office, like the
eye doctor,
the ophthalmologist
yes
appointment.
So Lily, as y'all know, Lily has special eyes. We've talked about that enough. And so she goes to her regular appointments and I'm always making them for her. And we have the best eye doctor, Dr. Sherelle McCoy Morrison, but I'm not sure which one she goes by. And there's been a divorce since. So I think
Okay.
I can't remember what's her maiden, if
Okay.
it's McCoy or Morrison, but Sherelle, Sherelle with my eye doctor. And we go to the one in Ballantyne on like John J. Delaney.
Okay.
Okay. In that shopping center where there's the Harris Teeter and the Fox and Hound used to be there, but I don't know if Fox and Hound is still there.
Yeah.
But all of that is Zapatas.
Yes.
Okay.
We like Zapatas.
We do. We like Zapatas.
Yeah.
So it's all in there. There's a My Eye Doctor in there, and that's where she works out of. And she is amazing. The best eye doctor, seriously. But because I've only ever had floaters but no vision issues, I hadn't gone to the eye doctor in 23 years.
Yeah, and I would say most people don't.
So
unless you're wearing contacts or glasses, why would you go?
Why would you go? Well, a couple years ago, I noticed that I was really struggling to read anything up close. And maybe this is why I'm struggling to get into ACOTAR, because I can't see the pages.
I think so.
It just dawned on me.
You're holding the book like
this. I'm literally, it is so hard for me to read right now. And it felt like it just kind of came out of nowhere a couple of years ago. I blamed it on social media usage. I'm constantly staring at my phone.
That makes sense.
So I got all the blue light blocking glasses and I tried to be better and, put it on the dimmer mode and do it on this. And nothing was helping. And it was beginning to be like, here's the letter, and then here's a little bit more letter just next to it.
Yeah, you said it was like a shadow.
Like a shadow. Not double vision. Not like, okay, these two lights are now four lights. But just like a shadow behind it.
A little drop shadow.
And it was driving me crazy because it was really hard to see and really hard to read. And so I'm at the doctor's appointment with Lily, and I've already sent her back because I try to make my kids go do appointments alone and everything.
Yeah.
And I'm having to fill out paperwork for her, and I'm like this, pulling it away, trying to drop my eyes, chin up, chin down, blink a few more times, use my phone flashlight. The amount of times I've had to use my phone flashlight for things. I'm at restaurants with menus and everything.
No, illuminating things?
Yes, or I take pictures to blow it up. It's just gotten so bad. So I'm at the eye doctor. And I can't see to make out the paperwork. I finally go up to the girl and I say, "Excuse me, I'm desperate here. I can't read these papers. Is there an appointment I can get in right after Lily?
Right now.
Like immediately. Immediately, yes. I need to see an eye doctor right now. I'll hop into Lily's appointment. Sherelle's known me a long time. She loves me. She'll allow me to do it.
I'm sure
It's towards the end of the day. Who else is she seeing?
Yeah.
So she's like, as a matter of fact, we just had a cancellation.
Perfection.
I'm like, oh, thank you, Book of Joshua. So,
I know that.
or Joseph, whatever. So she goes, you can come in right now and we'll start working on you. And it was so amazing to feel like I don't have to call and make another appointment. I don't have to do the next step. It's just done.
I mean, that to me is
what a gift.
Miraculous part of
that
this
is
story.
the miraculous
you
part.
You are already in the place you needed to be.
That's it. And someone said, yes, we will help you.
You didn't have to call back?
No.
You didn't have to drive there?
No.
You didn't have to schedule this and figure out how to fit it in your life?
It was a miracle.
I mean.
It was a miracle.
Miracle. You don't know that.
No, it's a Christian one. Is it on his radio, capital H? Okay, so I finally did change the channel. Actually, Lily did. Lily was like, what is... And just changed it.
She's like, where is Sabrina Carpenter?
Yeah, she's like, this is not 96.1. Okay, so she sees me right away, and they dial it, and they do all the things. And but anyway, but before I got dilated, Sherelle sits me down in the chair, and she's like, does this look better? Does this look better? Does this lens? Until you actually have the proper lens.
I know it.
You don't realize how poorly you see.
You don't.
It's so bad,
when
y'all.
They are doing that portion, this or this, A or B,
yes,
B or C. B.
What's the lowest line that you can read? And then they start doing the lenses.
They do,
and I'm like, oh my God,
that's
shocking. How bad it was, and now this is how clear I'm going to see.
Yes.
Turns out I'm farsighted with an astigmatism and getting bifocals. Wow,
you guy!
That escalated quickly.
No.
I can't see. I'm like, am I okay to drive home without glasses on? What happened? And what they told me, I said, where did this all come from?
Yeah.
How did this just all happen? I had perfect eyesight with floaters, but perfect eyesight.
Tell them.
A couple years ago, I said, and the girl goes, how old are you? I said 42. She goes, because you turned 40.
You turned 40. That's it. It's all falling apart.
Electric chair.
Yeah,
so
that's
it really is. We are more and more becoming, it's becoming clearer to us, pun intended. We can see that it's not that people back in the day were like 40 is so old. You're dying.
Yeah.
It's that's not why they hated 40. It's because your body falls apart at 40.
Yes. I when they say over the hill, it's like, okay, you have
peaked.
physically
You
peaked.
peaked.
You have physically peaked, right?
P-E-A-K-E-D.
Yes. And now the cells are dying.
Everything.
Okay. You may not die till 80 something, but the cells are starting to die. And so the hair is falling out. The vision is going to go. The skin is losing elasticity. These things are happening after 40, and you have really now experienced.
Kristen said, so you didn't just lose weight, you lost your eyesight. I was like, apparently.
I'm like, was there fat in your eye?
Yeah, well, maybe.
Your fat eyes that got so skinny.
I'm so pissed.
Now you can't see.
The only place I needed to retain fat was my face. And it all went. I noticed even my nose. My nose used to be fuller right here. I've noticed this because it feels like there's a little crater. And I'm like, really? We had to lose that too.
Not the nose fat. God. Oh my gosh.
Everything is wrong. Everything is wrong on this face. Gotta lift up the eyes, need more fat, need my eyesight back, need my bulbous nose.
But the bifocals
This
are
is
coming.
the cross.
This is the cross we bear.
Your private school and my not bulbous nose.
Welcome to the thin side of life.
I know it sounds.
But you
we
know
sound
what?
insufferable.
When you get those glasses, I need you to fly straight down to Disney. I need you to go see Ariel.
Okay,
And
and let her see my goggles.
and see if she mentions your goggles.
I'm gonna say, Ariel, I might be 42, but these are my first pair of glasses.
Glasses.
My
She
first
will
pair
be
of goggles.
very sweet with you. I know it.
I know
You
she
should get
will.
some Ariel colored bifocals.
I'm going to. I just picked out.
Yeah, what'd you
tried
pick
on
out?
lots of funky things because I was like, you know what? Like, let's go sell it, Jesse Raphael.
Yeah, you're a funky
Let's
girl.
cat eye it. Let's see. Let's do a bunch of things. And they were cute, but then I just realized, like, hey, will this look good with every outfit?
Yes.
Every hair.
Yeah.
All the things. And so I just went with tortoise.
Yeah,
I went
classic
to
tortoise.
Classic tortoise, just like my blue light blocking ones.
Yeah.
And I thought, these still look good. And I'm excited to get them in because, like, I even did like the all clear
Yes,
and like
yes.
I tried it all. But I'm excited to get them in because now I know how great I'll see. Ever since she did the things, and I was just like, well, now I can't wait because I really do want to see again. And I didn't realize how bad it had gotten until the lenses.
You know what this is? We've not talked about this, but one of the first, like, real quirky things about you that I learned. And I think it was we were out to dinner and you were going through your purse. And she's notorious for any manner of thing.
It's a let's make a deal purse is what I call it.
Yes,
let's
because
make a deal.
anything could be in it.
Y'all remember the end of the Let's Make a Deal show, and he would say, does anybody have an egg? And somebody would be like, I have a hard-boiled egg in my purse right now. And they would get $50 or whatever it was. That's me.
That's you.
Yes.
And so we were kind of doing that. We were going through your
Yeah,
bag.
anything.
You were getting
I know
pills.
what this is going to be. I know it. At the same time,
She pulls out, well, I don't know what it's called.
an old bottle of
No.
Oh.
Wait, tell me what you were going to say.
that Vicks. Do you remember I went to an archaeology fair. Of course I did. And someone he had dug up. He went to like the Vicks manufacturing plant, and they used to put Vicks in these tiny blue bottles.
I do remember.
And he was selling them at the archaeology fair. I was like, I love Vicks so much, I have to have this. And I carried around that bottle in my purse. I can't tell you how long. Decades.
An archaeological Vicks bottle. Wow.
From an archaeological fair.
Okay, well, next to the archaeological Vicks bottle was
I'm going to find it.
was a dentist's mirror.
Oh, yeah. Why did I have this?
Because for so many years, Miranda did not want to go to the dentist. Okay?
Yep.
And that was like a fear thing.
Yep.
Even though she doesn't have fears, she just was like not.
I had a bad root canal
Yes,
experience.
she had a bad experience, and she just thought, never again. I can take care of this myself.
Sure.
And we do a lot of things like that.
Yes.
We do think we'll just deal with it ourselves.
Just deal with it. Yep.
And so her version of that for her dental care was to stick the little mirror on the end of the stick, and she would check her teeth. So I would look over sometimes, and she'd have the mirror in the back like that. And she'd be looking around,
Just checking for a cavity myself.
just checking out her teeth.
Remember Kathy Hilton said she used to do dental work on people? I was like, relatable. I have the whole kit.
And so for years, you had that thing just floating in your bag. And you would just hold it and you'd look around in your mouth and you'd lean
and
over.
And that chip had fallen out, so I wanted to make sure that there weren't any nerve endings that were, I'm just checking things out. and you know what? For no braces, I got pretty good teeth. So
what is happening?
I had everything in that purse. The bigger the purse, obviously, the more you can hold. The pro tip on that is this.
I know what it is. Small purse.
If you just carry a small little purse like this,
there's only so much.
Then there's only so much you can do. And I did recently clean it out. So all I have is my wallet, some floss.
Okay. More dental gear.
More dental stuff. My earbuds, some gloss.
Yes.
The key.
Yes.
And my pills.
Wow.
All my random pills in one thing together.
So that's random. That's not just like an Excedrin. Wow.
There's ibuprofen.
There's a Benadryl, I think.
There's a Benadryl. There's an ibuprofen. And there's a headache medicine. And Prilosec OTC. So all over the counter stuff.
Yeah.
But this is emergency. Emergency stash a la Rena. Because you never know when you'll get a headache.
You never know.
Or
someone around you that needs it.
Yes, because I'm always here to help people because I'm a 2. But I do always have Excedrin on me because if I feel a migraine coming on, if I take 2 to 3 Excedrin, I can hold it off. It will just be a dull version instead of full-blown migraine. And I get light auras like that, and the tip of my nose, speaking of, goes numb. My lips start to go numb. My fingertips start to go numb. And I know the migraine is coming in minutes. But if I can get a couple Excedrin in me, I can't remember the word I'm going for, and I have one receipt.
Did you know that receipts are hormone disruptors?
I'm sorry, what?
So, y'all can hear that. I'm holding a receipt.
Yeah.
The receipt paper. So it's either the paper or the ink, or maybe it's the combination of the ink on the paper.
Oh, because it has some carbon on it or something?
There is something about receipt paper that I've seen on all these accounts. They're like, as soon as you get a receipt, throw it away. Don't put it in your bag. Don't put it in your car. Wash your hands.
Have you done the research to see if that's true or not?
No, I just believe it.
Okay.
I just believe it.
Okay. I do know that some receipt paper, you can literally go like this on, and a line will
show.
And I believe that that's because there might be some carbon in there, and that might be what they're talking about. If it's just regular receipt paper and you can't do that, then I'm curious, because what's the difference between this paper and any other paper?
I don't know. We're going to look it up. We're going to find out, and
let's think about it real quick, Chris.
Chris. Let's think about it, Chris.
Because this is paper.
Yes.
No different than other paper.
Yes. Well, I don't know that. Don't say that.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that this specific Walmart receipt might just be on normal receipt paper. But there are specific receipt papers that are weird, and you can literally put your fingernail on it, and it makes a dark line. And I bet that's the paper that they're saying to be very.
You trust about. This just you think this is just regular paper? I think that
this is just regular paper, and I would not be concerned because we literally serve food on newspaper.
Lick that paper. She did it. Oh God! Did y'all see that?
This was at the Walmart.
She licked this
Walmart
receipt with her thick tongue. She didn't just put the tip of it on.
No.
It was a fat lick.
Nothing scares me. This is not the dirtiest thing I'm going to put in my mouth. I know that to be true.
I know it.
It's not going to be the dirtiest
this
thing.
week. I know it's not the dirtiest thing. This week of all weeks, I know it.
What do you think it is? It's because our 14-year anniversary. What are you giving me?
Yeah. Something. I saw what you did.
I'm just now. Nothing grosses me out. I am the least grossed out person about things like that in the world.
I think I am too.
I will put anything in.
I don't think I already got enough hormone problems. I just don't think I can lick the receipt. But we will research. But
this will literally discuss the fact that I know that someone tore this off of a Walmart.
This wasn't a self-checkout receipt?
No, I had to make a return. She ripped it off with her hand, and I just stuck my tongue on it.
Yeah.
After it's been in my purse.
I hope that you are well over the next week.
I'm going to be fine.
After licking that.
Y'all have no clue just how many germs and how many things are floating around and going in your mouth that you have no clue about.
I do think about that a lot. Honestly, the main culprit
that was
are these. The phones.
Absolutely.
Y'all,
the phones
our
are
phones
disgusting.
have so many germs on them.
I just looked for mine.
And it's recording. It's recording us. And it's gross.
This is me.
Okay, before we go, tell me what your reCAPTCHA story is.
Oh, reCAPTCHA.
Okay, so y'all know when it asks you, are you a robot?
Mm-hmm.
On the internet, it wants to know if you're a robot. And so I had posted something funny about this, and she wrote me and said, I have a story about that.
About reCAPTCHA. Of course I do. This is so cool. If y'all aren't listening to, and I don't always like to promote other podcasts on this here podcast because we are obviously number one.
Superior.
But Guy Raz, who is a host of NPR's How I Built This, is genuinely one of my favorite podcasts in the world to listen to.
It is. You've talked about that one for years.
Years and years and years, and I've tried to listen to every single one of them. And one of them is the guy who invented reCAPTCHA. And believe it or not, the same guy who invented reCAPTCHA invented Duolingo. And not only did the same guy invent the two of those, much like I love the story of the guy who invented Atari and then also invented Chuck E. Cheese because he wanted a place to put all of his games.
Oh, so smart.
So brilliant. Okay, that guy's story you should listen to too. So I'm going to find both of these stories because I feel like if you don't want to listen to any other How I Built This, which you should, How I Built This is interviewing the icons of industry and how did they build their companies.
Yes, and I love it.
They're all mostly companies that you've heard of.
Yes.
And so when I saw this one come up for reCAPTCHA, you almost think in your brain, somebody had to invent reCAPTCHA?
Yeah.
Like a computer didn't just do reCAPTCHA?
Yeah, a computer didn't invent itself?
Yeah. To me, that just seems like, okay, that was just something that Google... someone in a cubicle at Google just said, hey, we need a way to prove that this isn't a robot. And so let's just put this code in there.
I agree.
Right?
I agree. It does seem like it would just be something
that someone who already works there has figured out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
No, not at all. That's not how the story went at all. And the guy, and so I don't want to give too much away.
Okay, we'll post the episodes so we can all listen.
I will post the episode for the guy who started reCAPTCHA, and it's not giving it away that it then kind of led into Duolingo because they're both in the title.
Okay.
But I'm going to link it. I want y'all to go listen. This man is so smart that even when he was trying to dumb it down to explain it, I was like, no comprende. This is so far over my head, the way he was explaining it, that I just thought there are so many brilliant people walking amongst us.
Yes.
Brilliant inventors.
Yes.
Just thoughts, the way that their brain works. I say there's not one iota in this entire brain that could think the way he thought.
Yeah.
And he came up with all of this stuff.
Amazing.
And it's just amazing to me. And it's so inspiring. I don't look at that, obviously, because I just said it as why not me? I want to be special.
Yeah.
It's just the world is full of all different kinds of people.
Yes.
And there are so many brilliant, smart people. The guy who did Atari and Chuck E. Cheese, his story is so amazing because his developer for his early games was Steve Jobs. He hired Steve Jobs to help with his games. And Steve Jobs left his company to work on this little thing called Apple that he would later name Apple. And he asked this same man if he wanted to buy into Apple for $50,000 and own 33.3% of it. And he said no.
No.
That man said no to Steve Jobs to own a third of Apple.
Ouch. Ouchie.
Now, luckily for that guy,
he still had success.
He's a multi-hundred millionaire.
Okay,
so
he's good.
So there's a part of him, of course, Guy Raz is how do you sleep at night?
Yes.
How do you stomach that?
The
How do
missed
you know
opportunity.
that you could have been a billionaire with a B?
You could have been on the list, smash or pass.
Right here. Just right there, right underneath. And I thought he had such a brilliant answer. He said, I don't know if I'd like myself.
Ooh.
If I had that much money. Because there's a difference, y'all. We don't understand the difference between 100 millionaire and billionaire. But if you are a 100 millionaire, there's a big difference between the M and the B. Does that make sense, y'all?
But I can't even comprehend that.
I can't either. But they can. The difference in 100 millionaire to billionaire is yachts, private jets, like things like that. I think
it's like Crazy Rich Asians.
Yeah, it's just crazy money. You can't even like you don't have to think twice about spending. Whereas 100 Millionaire, it's kind of like, well, if half of that's an investment and half of that's here and half that's there, and I want to create generational wealth, like I still have to be smart.
Yeah.
And so his thing was like, had I gotten that amount of money at that age and stage in my life,
true,
I don't know if I'd like who I was. And would I have gone on to do any of these other things that I did? Or would I have just been like, I'm good?
Yeah. You have to kind of just say, that wasn't my path. And I still have found success and I'm still, taken care of financially. And I'm okay.
Of course, that was kind of the joke, him back to Guy Raz when Guy Raz was like, oh my God, do you just kick yourself every day? And he's like, I'm still doing okay.
Yeah.
I can still pay my bills.
I'm doing all right.
I'm still eating just fine.
Yeah.
And so, yes, it's a little bit easier. But of course, I think about the fact that I said no to Steve Jobs. He's like, but I saw how brilliant his potential. That's why I hired him.
Yeah.
And then he left, to just tinker around with some computers and see if he could figure out this one thing, and then created Apple and asked him for 50 grand. And he was like, at that point, I was so rich, I could have given him 50 grand. I just said no. Isn't that wild, though, to think about these small decisions that you make in your life? You never know where they'll take you or where they won't. And it's all maybe for the right reason.
I know. I think that you have to, hey, listen, to bring it back to all the things we were talking about with our kids and at the top of this is sometimes I have to just say to myself, relax.
Yeah.
If I'm saying I'm a person of faith, then I have to let some of that go and say whatever path they're on is where they're meant to be.
Yeah.
And I believe God's got them, right? And so the right people will be around them. We're going to guide and direct them, of course. But I have to let go of that a little bit.
Yeah.
And so same thing here. It's like you make the best decision you can with the information you've got.
Exactly.
And wherever that leads you is where it leads you.
And it led me to an astigmatism.